Welcome back to another episode of the Strongman Winner Circle podcast, episode 24, with my co-host Anthony Furman, the cat lover. Yeah. And today's guest is Blake Louwrens, 5-time South African strongest man, 105 kilo, has the 105 kilo world record in the deadlift at 115 kilos / 913 pounds. Also, he holds the South African axle and log record. Blake, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, brother.
What a heavy resume you bring to this podcast right now. You know, we talk about winners in the sport a lot, and you bring that resume. You're a winner.
100%, yeah. It's been a good few years. Obviously, competing against the likes of you and Cabby a few years back.
5 years.
Being a new beginner. Yeah,
yeah
2017, 5 years back. Yeah, crazy days. Time has run away. Yeah, look, it's a lot of work. Obviously,
I gotta let my dog
to get overseas.
Oh, he's gone. But of course, we'll let's give Anthony. All right, so Blake, tell us about your early beginnings. How did you get started in the sport of strongman, and who were some of your inspirations?
Yeah, basically being a strong kid, rugby boy. We play, obviously in South Africa, rugby is a lot bigger than what it is that side. Obviously rugby being physical, strong. I was in the gym one day and one of the local powerlifting boys tried to get me into powerlifting. I was pulling some numbers. I think I was 20. I pulled a 340, 350 deadlift, 20 years old already. And the guy was like, bro, hey, what are you doing, man? It's like, you need to come be powerlifting. I was like, no, I play rugby. It's all good. This guy's like, no, bro, this is world record stuff at your age. You need to get in this. So I was like, okay, cool. I started training. He got me into a bit of comps. And then I had my first serious injury. So I snapped my ankle, had an ankle up, came back, tore my MCL, had a knee up. Started powerlifting 2017, snapped my bicep, reattached that. So it's been a downhill from there. But along the lines of in the sport, I picked up on a few guys around me doing strongman. I don't know what it was then. But I mean, everyone then back then was like strongman. It was a joke. It was like I was doing on TV, man. What is strongman? In South Africa at the time, I think we had a limit of maybe 5 guys doing strongman. A very small sport. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a go. And it's like some people got me in touch with some people around here, and I just started training for my own fun. Got some toys, made some things, made a yoke, made farmers, and that's where I started. I just did my own thing.
You know, I think it's kind of you mentioned, like, you know, it was kind of small in South Africa, but I tell you what though, for a small population in the sport, you guys have a lot of high level athletes that come out of South Africa.
Look, 100%. Don't get me wrong. We have some genetic freaks over here. Some of the boys side are, it's obviously the Afrikaans genes. There's some strong big boys. Just naturally, they physically come. I mean, we do a demo at some comps, and a guy will come out the crowd and pick up a 340 kg deadlift, never trained a day in his life. And I was like, yes.
That's humbling. That's humbling, right? You're like, what the hell?
There's some freaks. There are really some freaks out there. It was nice, but it's always been for me, look, it's always been different. I think I liked the strongman more than anything else because it was just different. And there weren't many people that do it yet. So a lot of guys were like, whoa, you do strongman. I was like, everyone thought I was a bodybuilder. Everyone looks at me and goes, hey, you bodybuilder, man. I was like, I do strongman. Hey, what is that, bro? I was confused. So it was different.
Yeah, very much so. Well, it's pretty cool. It seems like a lot of people because I'm very similar. A lot of guys come in from other sports and they don't know what strongman is, and once they start doing it, they're like, "Oh, this is amazing."
100%.
Very common story, I feel like.
Now
we got some.
I was gonna say, were you inspired by like Garrett Badenhorst, like even like the Mad? I forget his full name, but the Mad Dog.
So, Gerard Badenhorst. So he wasn't the original strongman in South Africa. Yeah. I think he was the first one to ever pull 400 in the world. Back in the day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Just got broken. First ever 400 was by South African, which was fantastic. Gerard Badenhorst, legend in his time. He actually refed this last world record. He was actually one of my judges.
Okay.
So it was actually quite nice to have that there. And then from there, we've had Etienne, likes of Etienne Smith. There's been a few good athletes come out of the country. At the time, I think it was actually 3 South Africans that pulled 400 in number 5. So genetically, South Africans there's some freaks. Don't get me wrong. Some real freaks.
It's not that
Yeah, we got to get you guys out of there more.
Yeah, 100%.
So of course, one thing I wanted to really kind of touch on, it was kind of your record. If I remember correctly, you broke the record twice, the deadlift record. Why do you think it's something that people keep going after? Especially like pulling over 400 kilos is a really grueling task, and it's one of the more contested records among the 105 kilo scene. So of course, like for instance, like heavyweights, you had Eddie and Thor battling out for this couple of years, but for the most part, it hasn't really been broken. This 105 kilo record has been broken several times, and people keep going after it. Why do you think that? What do you think that is?
Look, without a doubt, deadlift is a true test of strength. Without a doubt, 100%. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Genetically, I was gifted to deadlift. My levers just work. If you look at my body proportions, it's deadlift's my nature. That's my game, and I love it. If you said I couldn't deadlift anymore, I'd probably stop competing completely. I'm done. But I feel like it's a true test of sport. I think it's a big record to have. I think there's a few guys that are very close on it all the time. Where the likes of like pressing, you're a freak. You press stupid numbers, but there isn't many guys that are great pressers. So you stand out amongst presses. But if you look at the deadlift, you got a good number of. The last 4 years, you got 5-6 guys that are always they were there. At any given time, it could be cracked. So I feel like it's a good. It's growing. Right now, I could probably put 10 people on paper that could probably go for the record and probably edge close to it.
I think the cool thing about it, and especially why our class keeps pushing a bit, everyone really, is because it's like the one lift out there where size doesn't necessarily equate what you can do on that lift. It is about leverages.
100%.
So like you can be a smaller guy and pull more than some of the bigger guys with a deadlift. So that's one of the cool things about it in my eyes.
But 100%. So I hold in South Africa, I've got the second biggest deadlift in Africa as well. So, and I'm body to weight, I think I'm the strongest 10 times fold. So, and it's always nice, like for I kind of weight, putting those numbers, keeping up with, I'm not going to say, let's say the fat boy, big boys. We give them a go. They're not far off us, and they got 30, 40 kgs on us plus. And that's one thing I think was always appealed to me. It always kept me going. Was a lot of guys would come up to me and go like, "Hey, Eddie pulled 500," but like on paper, you're stronger than Eddie Hall. And so I'd be like, "Oh no," and then I'd be like, think about it. Actually, body to weight, 100%. If you take weight, you tenfold. You a hell of a lot stronger. You're pulling 4 times the body weight, and he was pulling pretty much on double and a bit.
So
no disrespect.
No, it's still funny. It's okay.
Yeah,
it can be true and funny.
So Blake, this was one of my later questions, but when they did 501, 500, 501, they're probably, I'm guessing they're around 400 to 440 around there. So they're probably doing anywhere between 2.5 to like 2.75 times their body weight. Technically, when you pulled your record, you're around 3.95 times your body weight, right? Do you like in essence, do you think you're a more talented and better puller than Eddie and Thor?
I don't think I'm better. I think I genetically had better levers. A lot shorter, close to the ground, long arms, short legs. Like I said, my levers are just built to deadlift.
How about technique?
I pulled.
Do you think you have a better technique than?
Look, I don't think I'm the cleanest technique puller in the world. I'll be 100% honest with you. I got a bit of a nasty hitch in the end. Which weird enough, like when I broke the 412.5 the first time, I weighed in at 102.2. So I pulled 4.1 my body weight.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's what kept me going. The second one I was a little bit heavier, so it's just under 4.4. But obviously it's lost a lot. The second pull we had I broke the SA record first with log, which gassed the hell out of me. And then pretty much on warm-ups for the record, I think I got up to 220 for warm-up, and they stripped the bar and said, no, they're using the weights now for the comp. So I was like, bro, I'm not warm. Like, what do you want me to do? My first open is 380. I can't jump 220 to 380. The guy said, well, you're going to have to. Okay. So my first opener was 380, and it was a complete joke, actually. Look, I got it done. It went slow, and I still said to my team and my partner, and I said, listen, I was aiming for 420, 425 a day, and I was like, bro, it's not going to happen. The way that 380 just moved, it's not happening. So I jumped straight to 415, which I battered my ass off, and I attempted a 420. I got it to my knees, and I just body shut down. CNS is fried.
Well, I would imagine.
It's what it is.
I would imagine a 415 right into a 420 is pretty brutal in itself, anyways.
Oh,
I mean, that's heavy. Like, you're talking world record weight followed by another world record rate by 5 kilos. Like, that's a big ask.
100% within 5-minute rest. It was. Yeah. Look, I've done 2 comps now in America, actually 3 comps, and look, you guys are in a different league. Whether it be the setup of the comp, the running of the comp, the athletes. Honestly, here we have some good athletes. I'm gonna be the second to third to me. We've got some depth that could probably feature overseas. Some good boys, strong boys. But I feel like the organization of comps is we're far behind. I feel like a lot of our athletes aren't as fit as Americans. Well, actually, even the Ukrainians, the boys are fit. They're fit and strong.
Yeah.
And it's just more people coming out of the woodworks. Like, you're Polish, and the rest of those are freaks. There's some guys coming out of the woodworks, and the boys are strong. The boys are hungry.
Well, it's one of those things, the infrastructure, right? So, luckily, no matter what you think about it here, we've had a good infrastructure for competitions in the United States for 20, 30 years at this point, just very solid, at least where you can draw people to it because it exists. And that's all. That's really all it is. You just have to establish something that people can trust in your country. It's, this is the league. This is how we do it. And then everything else will grow from that. But it's hard when it's like hit and miss, and it's all like, it's not organized well. It gets tough, definitely.
Well, that's exactly it. Like, a lot of guys came to watch the comp because I knew I was going to attempt the record. And when they got there, there was no space for spectators to watch. They actually had it inside of a gym because the venue fell through. So it just becomes a mess. It becomes an actual mess. It starts playing mind games. It's all over the place.
So how do you deal with that? So as an athlete going for world records, and you start getting stuff coming at you left and right that's messing with your kind of mental space, how do you deal with that to succeed?
Look, I put myself in a corner. Pretty headstrong. I think I am where I am, being headstrong. There was never someone to back me. Like, I don't come from, I don't know, like that side. Like, in South Africa, things are hard. Money's, average salary is hard. We live tight month to month. I was never back my money. I was never given, and I didn't have all day to train. I pretty much have a full-time 7 to 5, and then I train after hours. So it was never really, I've worked for what I've got. So the mind had to be strong. The mind was always very, very one-minded. I actually remember, like, when I started seeing my partner, in the beginning, I said, listen, there's going to be no date nights. There's going to be no cuddling. There's no movies. There's no giving up. Let's skip gym to cuddle. It's not happening. Like, understand, I got a goal. And back then, I wanted to pull a 400, and I think the record then was the 80 when I first started, around there. And every time I got closer, that record just got broken. And I got closer, and the record got broken. It just kept getting away from me. And then I actually sat down in 2017, and I was like, well, I'm going for the record. Or everything else aside, that's if I do deadlift, that's what I'm doing.
So it looks like you almost, because of I don't want to say lonely, but because, like, it seems like a lot of your stuff in your life, it's been you've developed this kind of mental toughness because it's you against the world almost. Like, you don't need people to give you handouts. You expect the worst so that you perform your best.
100%. Look, everything you take with it is appreciate. Look, I have a great family backing and friends and team. But I don't ask for it. So when they're there and they show up, it's appreciated. It means something to me. But look, expect the worst and go for it.
Nice.
Love it. And then of course I like the piece, of course, all the sacrifices, all the date nights, all the cuddling. That ties up. You need that during the week too.
I remember doing that shit when I was like heavily competitive. It'd be like, hey, sorry, you know, we're not doing shit.
100%. Like for me, for instance, like I said, I work at 75, you come home. I've obviously opened up my own gym, private strength gym, in lockdown and stuff, because I had to train. Like I had my goal to train. That's where it started. And I trained daily in and out. But I still work 75, built the gym after hours, trained on the outside when it rained, hot and cold, didn't matter. So I had a goal and I went for it.
I like it, man. I like that attitude. I like it.
That's awesome. But I did want to, of course, need you guys' help a little bit, because do you guys know who had the record prior to 2019? Because that's kind of where my memory starts of the record.
Was Yuri?
No. I thought Yuri broke it in 2019. I thought Luke had
2019.
So I want to say it went Luke at one point, and then Dirks broke it around like 885, like around 400 kilos. Then I have in the Ukraine show, at the Ultimate show, Davies, Tyson, and Yuri all broke it, but Yuri left with it. And then Blake broke it for the first time, correct?
Yeah, 100%.
And then McKeegan broke it in Ireland, and then you took it back in December, and now it looks like it's going to keep going. So I know, like, for instance, since then, Schumacher's went after it. McKeegan tried to take a swing at it more recently in the last couple of weeks, but didn't get it. And it looks like McKeegan's going to go after it again, and then Dirks is also going to take another swing.
Gavin Prosser. Don't forget Gavin Prosser, too.
Gavin, yes. Wow, there's just so many different guys going after. Now, if it gets broken, you got to go after it a third time.
Dude, we could. That's so many. We could almost do our own World Deadlift Championships with just the 105s. There's enough guys. Holy crap,
the guys.
100%. But look, I backed myself in 430. That is. I pulled a 422 in training with suit.
That's massive.
But sitting at around.
And for anybody listening, he's talking kilos. 422 kilos is a massive number for a 105 athlete.
946.
To just move, that's a heavy yoke for us.
946 is almost 950 pounds.
Oh,
so yeah, wow, I pulled it around 108 kgs. So it's there. Obviously, just tap in on the weight. Get a suit that actually fits. My suit's a little bit big. I need to get that thing tailored. Based on, I was never really a suit puller. I've been pulling for suits the last 2 years, basically. It kind of throws me off, but I've learned to actually try and work with it. But I think this doesn't fit me, so I'm not really comfortable in the suit yet. It's still edgy.
Yeah. Still
edgy.
Yeah, you definitely got to get used to it, especially for numbers like that. It's not like it's a sub-maximal lift. It is maximal, so.
Look, I pulled my first up to 410 raw.
I love that. I love that about you, and I appreciate the hell out of that. I really do love that.
Look, I feel like some of my boys. I'm obviously training the guy that won African Strongest Man, Tubbs, Mabaso. He actually went to World's Strongest Man last year. They gave him a bit of issues, didn't get to compete. Like, he's a suit puller. The boy he's super strong, phenomenal shoulders. He broke the SA record with a 201 log. But raw. He's raw strength, but like, if I take him to contests, he's a suit puller. Like, he can pull up to about a 340 without a suit, and then after that, he's tapped out. The boy puts a suit on, he can pull a 400, 410.
That's crazy. He gets a lot of that suit.
It's 100%. I also need that suit. Whereas the likes of me, with suit, without a suit, I'm looking at 5-10 kgs difference. It really isn't much. I just think I haven't mastered the suit yet, but I'll get there.
Well, I think a lot of the suit too depends on what you're weaker and stronger at. You're very strong off the floor, so it's not going to.
Floor's quick,
and it doesn't help you as much as some people that are weaker off the floor.
100%. Now, my lockouts is my weakness. But I'll get there.
I think all three of us here, if we had a weakness in our deadlift, it was always our lockouts. Was always a tougher part.
Let's talk about it. What have you been doing to kind of work on your lockout strength? Do you have any suggestions for beginners or people looking to have an elite deadlift? How do you work on lockout?
Pretty much over the knees. I've been working a lot more rack pulls, and a hell of a lot of hip thrusts. I feel like my hips always lag. I feel like the lockout, I couldn't really push my hips in. That's when my engagements kind of kicks out. It's slow hips. So I've been working more the hips, which I've now picked up a groin hernia on the left hip. It just doesn't end.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it just doesn't end. Look, it's basically lockouts and hip thrusts. Those are my two keys right now for the top end. That's the two points.
Yeah, heavy hip thrusts are very, they're not a booty building movement just for chicks. Those are very good for us.
How heavy? How heavy on hip thrusts?
Hip thrusts, I've been up to 300, about 300 for a few reps. I kind of tend to use the axle. It's a little bit more comfortable on the hips.
Yeah.
And then rack pulls from just on knee, pulled about 425, 430 for single double. Actually, I'm lying, 425 double. So it's I'm getting stronger on the weekends, but the body is just not playing with me right now.
All right. Now, how about for instance, how about tips in general for deadlifting? What do you tell like guys just getting into the sport in terms of like what they should focus on a deadlift?
Look, start small. Get the technique right. And like I always say to people, I'm not the best technique lifter. If I could, I'd start from the bottom again and get my technique right. You'd rather have a good technique and a good looking deadlift than a massive deadlift, and everyone goes, wow. Yeah. While the risk of hurting yourself a hell of a lot less. Touch wood, I've never had an injury from deadlift itself, besides snapping a bicep. But the form is key. I feel like once you hit the form right, all the kind of parts of the movement will fit into place. I feel like when your form is lacking, it's where you start neglecting muscles and where things don't kind of work where they should be working.
All right.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Now, outside of actually the last piece, and this might be a little redundant, but what's any suggestions in terms of breaking through plateaus? Is it sometimes doubling up on the lift? Is it sometimes taking more rest? But what are some things that helped you in terms of getting through plateaus, especially static lifts?
Funny enough, rest actually. I was one always to, I didn't rest. If I just balls to the wall, go for it. Double up, train twice, double up a day. If it's a crap day, go the next day, train again. Where I got to a point where I think that I was a little bit older later on, realizing you can't max every week and you can't run that CNS, breaking it every week, that I started pulling back. I actually started going forward. So sometimes less is more. I feel like, especially strongman, the CNS is under a huge amount of pressure all the time. You can't just keep hammering it. You're going to break. We're not robots. You're going to break. So that rest, pulling back a bit, isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying don't train hard, but know when to pull back.
It's one of those things where I've always preached, you got to treat like a season. You have to treat it like a sport. You have to have a preseason, off season, and you have to have in-season training. They're all different types of trainings, but some people, they do go too hard year round. You can tell those people are.
No, 100%. That's exactly it. I was a go for it, balls to wall, break, snap, operation, come back, snap.
Yep. And
where I eventually learned, hey, taper, pull back. There's more to life than just whacking yourself and strongman as well. And I feel like that's where I am at the moment. I'm training hard and enjoying myself, but I pulled back a lot. I actually started living a bit, going out of it, eating a bit of junk. I was very much cared what I looked the part, have a six pack, be strong. But I got to a point where I think I was eating a 2,500 calorie diet today, and it just wasn't enough. I think the body was actually saying, "Hey, bro, put some calories in you."
That's a little low.
A hell of a low.
Speaking before you go to left field and do what I did and get all fat and stop competing, I got to get you to Clash first, at least.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we got to get you there at least once, so you can show to the world what you can do.
No, fair enough. It sounds like a good time.
Yeah,
sounds like a good time.
Speaking of competing in contests, so outside of deadlifting, what do you enjoy doing? Like what are your favorite events outside of the deadlift?
Look, I'm a yoke. I love my yoke. Pretty good move. My moving is actually very good. Yeah. So I think when I still competed against you guys, I think day one I finished second, and I think you're just behind me. I'm not sure the placing. I was second on day one. Day two, I decided to. But day one, that night I decided to go out, get a little festive. Was a problem. Day 2 wasn't so great with no sleep. It was one of my big mistakes. I think I messed up myself at that official games. But yeah, yoke's definitely about moving. I think coming from the rugby background, the moving is in my favor. A pretty good mover.
And Anthony, when Anthony has the host contest, he's all about medleys. So this
100%.
I don't know if you've been paying attention, man, but we're moving into the 22nd century with the events in Clash. We're doing crazy medleys and stuff.
Cash for the clutch, yeah. No, been keeping up with you guys, yeah, 100%. Looks fantastic, eh?
Man, it's different.
Look, a lot of people put me down to static lifting. I'm actually a better mover than I am static. But I have a great squat. I can squat a T70, T80 kg. My numbers are good. My bench is pretty crap. I feel like my pressing has always been my weaker. In the last year or two, I pushed hard on it. But in the beginning, I think I only pushed 145, 150 log for the first 3-4 years of training.
Yeah.
It just didn't go anywhere. The last 2-3 years, I've been putting a lot more into triceps and things. Things started moving forward. But statically, it was always strong. I think that was genetically. But the moving was from rugby sporting background. That's where I think a lot of big role.
Yeah, you're not overly large for a 105. You stay close to 105, so you're not an overly heavy athlete.
I think at my heaviest 108, 109 off season. I'm not the tallest of guys. I'm only 176. So I'm not the tallest.
I have no clue how to equate that in my brain.
What's that? 5'9", right?
I was thinking 5'9".
5'9", yeah. No, probably even less. 5'8".
I'm about to Google this.
Yeah, 176 centimeters.
All right.
176 centimeters to. Here we go.
Come on.
5'9", yeah.
All right.
5'9". Okay, 5'9".
Yeah.
So not the tallest.
Still taller than Tyler Young, which is some when you'll meet him one day, but he's also he's very stocky.
You'll meet him as long as we're not in the crowd, because then we'll lose him. Sorry, Tyler.
So moving on. So Blake. So of course you told us a little bit in terms of how you got started, but when did you realize your potential in the sport? Like, when did you realize I can do more than some of these other guys? I need to continue doing strongman.
Look, I feel like I'd love to have competed overseas a hell of a lot more that we could have. Obviously, it's very hard for us. It's expensive. To put it to terms, like when I did come over there to the States, it pretty much took me 3-4 months of working and saving and not paying expenses to get over, to come back to pay debt for the next year to cover one trip. It's a hell of expensive for us. Like you guys coming in here, it's like a holiday. It's a good time. You guys are coming here as kings. Your money is, your dollars is fantastic here. Our rand currency is just weak. So it's a hell of expense for us to travel. And after lockdown now, or COVID, it's even worse. So it sucks, because I'd love to have gone this year to official games. Love to go. But I need to start saving now. I need to try to apply for leave for work. It's just hard. It's really hard, yeah. So I've always helped, if you look at the 105s in South Africa, I think there's maybe about 10 of us. Basically the top 3-4 below me pretty much train with me, and I train them. Look, I'm always one to push. If someone's got potential and talent and he can beat me, I'm going to push him to beat me. It just means I've got to work harder. But the boys got talent.
Originally, when did you realize that potential? Was it early on the sport? Was it early on in your career that you realized?
2017, 2018.
Okay.
2017, 2018.
Yeah, I think. That's when you came over to work.
Came on stage, yeah.
You came and showed out, and everyone's like, "Who the hell's this guy?" And you're just out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It was a good eye opener. Like, you're coming from here, being the best, not being touched. So look, I was untouchable here. Like the guy, we didn't have 105s. They were genuinely weak. Only now they've come up. Back then they were pretty weak. So I was the big fish in the sea. Got to America, and it was like a different ball game. You get there, and I was like, you guys are quick, you guys are strong. Those are fast. So it was like, hello, like step your game up, like you're in or you're out, which was quite nice to see.
Yeah,
I think that was, but as I kept up with the guys, like you guys are phenomenal athletes. But to keep up with you guys, I was like, you know what, I got this. Like, if I train a little bit harder, works on some weaknesses, there's no reason why I can't be up there and win.
that was a big league moment right there, where you're like, I belong in the big leagues.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I do want to say that it sucks about the travel cost thing. It's something we're very aware of over here.
Yeah,
and it's brutal. I mean, that's why personally, that's why I'm expanding into other continents, and I do hope one day to be able to do the full on treatment where I get to fly the flight and do it right, so that cost isn't as big a concern.
100%. Yeah.
It's brutal. It's brutal out there for everyone. It's just nature,
yeah.
of the beast until the sport as a whole hits that kind of apex,
Well, that's it. Yeah. I mean, here we actually pay. You got to pay entrance fee. You pay for shirts. You pay for this. You pay for that, and you win. You get pretty much you win. You get a trophy. It's not like you even get some sort of money back to cover costs of traveling, and I mean, just inside of South Africa's travel is a month's salary, 2 months' salary. We're talking about within South Africa, not even leaving the country. So it really is hard.
Yeah, it's about developing it, and because everything starts a certain way. You just have to develop it as a business and as a model, and just I feel like we are on the cusp of this worldwide kind of like enlightening for the sport. It's pretty exciting to be an athlete or involved in all of it right now.
No, sure, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're on the top. It's nice to see. I think you look at it, and it's sad because I feel like there is a lot of potential out there that can't afford to get to big comps. So we don't actually see them. There's a lot of guys hiding, just can't afford to get out. And look at likes of someone like Novikov. I mean, if he wasn't backed, the boys are world class.
Yeah.
With coming from nowhere. But now finding backing, people seeing who he is. Now he's starting to get sponsors, and it helps. It gets into comps. I mean, if no one knew who he was, he'd be stuck there back in his town war. It's hard. It's really hard.
Did you watch his latest performance? Did you watch the Giants live from this weekend?
I did, yeah. No, the boys
so
an animal.
He is so consistent in everything he does.
That's it. He's not. Look, I'm not gonna say he's not the greatest at everything. He pretty much is, but he's not bad at anything. He stays top 5, top 4 in every event.
He's generally top 3 in every single event. It's crazy.
Every single event.
So what do you? I was going to say, would you say that given this year's performance so far, so within 2022, he took second at the Arnold, he won Europes, he took third at Worlds, he took first at this. Would he be like the current number 1 right now, or do you think like Stolman's still up there, even though they probably split throughout the year? Because I think he beat Stolman at the Arnold, but Stolman beat him at Worlds. Who do you put over here?
I don't know. I feel Novikov's more consistent. I feel if you're taking it all around consistency, I feel like Novikov's definitely up there.
No, I don't think anybody's more consistent than him. I think he's the 100%. Most consistent. Yeah.
And I mean, back in the day, I used to back that boys had an injury, Kiliskovsky.
Yeah.
That's it, consistency. Boy is just a freak, consistent. He's there. Showing back on the deadlift. I feel like if the boy had a better deadlift, he would have won World's Strongest Man at least twice. Yeah. That deadlift let him down. It's just that thing that pushed him out of the top 3 every single time.
It's even though that there was the one Arnold where he won 4 events, Thor won 2, but Thor still won just because deadlift, and then there was one other event
It's sad, yeah.
So I think to your question, Nick, about who you brought up Arnold, head-to-head, Alexei won in the Worlds. I think it all depends on what you define as the true apex of the sport. If you consider World's Strongest Man the apex, and Tom is the number 1 strongman, that's just how that's how you have to accept that, because that's your championship. And it just, if Arnold is your apex, then you base it on that.
I almost want to say as a collective, right? Of course, it's a certain style competition. It adds different attributes if you win the contest into your overall skill set. But given the body of work, that again we agree that if you have to rank him, I would have to rank Oleksii over Tom, just given the body of work. But if you're talking about who can possibly at their best win one time, maybe Tom would be that, because he's that.
Yeah. No, I'm on your side. I think Alexei's number 1 based off his body of work. But it's just one of those things where like, well, hold on, well, what's the true measure here? Is worlds our Super Bowl or not? Like, you know, it's just defining what is our, you know, culminating event essentially.
Yeah, just go with the majors and all. But speaking of all these big shows, so Blake, again, a lot of our listeners are, of course, new to strongman or starting the sport. What would you tell them if you had to tell them, describe like what it takes to win a big show or what it takes to win in the sport? What would you tell them?
Look, it's gonna be a hell of a lot of hard work, a lot of work, a lot of pain. Where you think you're gonna feel pain, push through it. But don't have a favorite event. Yeah, we've got favorite events. Mine's deadlift, but you need to stay consistent. You can't just be there, rock up, win deadlift, and lose everything else and think you're a champion. It doesn't work like that. It's consistency. Consistency is key in strongman. If you can stay, like I said, like Novikov, you can stay top 5, top 4 throughout a comp, you get a chance to win. I mean, you don't have to win events. You can stay top 3 and still win a comp. It's consistent. You want to be an all-round athlete. I know, like, I got a lot of athletes that rock up here to comp training days, and it's like you can see what their favorite events is. They'll stick extra into the favorite events. The weekend events, like, hey, I gotta do something. I gotta go home now. Just guys, just bye. But work that weekend event. Stronger with work will get stronger, but the weekend needs a hell of a lot more work. So whatever your weaknesses, work the weaknesses. Don't work the strengths. The strengths will come with the weaknesses.
You heard it here. Work your weaknesses. Don't be lazy.
Anthony, do you have any questions for Blake?
No, I think we did a pretty good job this one, just kind of let him guide it. I mean, he answered a lot of the stuff I was going to bring up just in his explanations. I mean, my big thing is I just want the world to know what an amazing athlete he is, what he's done. And I would love to be able to help you get what you deserve in the sport, man. So, you know, that's what I'm here for on the Clash side. And of course, this podcast together, we did this for you guys as well, because we want to learn, and we have people that want, because there's so many ways to skin a cat when it comes to winning in strongman. So we're all just kind of putting it in one big pot, and we're all going to learn together.
And as a competitor, fan, and a friend, I want to see a 430 deadlift. So
yeah, I do too. I want to see that big time.
But
100%.
But Blake, what's next for you? What do you have planned for the rest of the year?
This year I'm actually just I'm riffing South African Strongest Man. Think I might jump into Africa's Strongest Man. So I'll skip SAs, which is the smaller, obviously, our country. Africa being obviously the continent. I'll jump into that, kind of overplays the essays, and then look to come overseas in 2023. I think that's enough time to sort of get my feet on the ground, put some money away, try to set myself up.
Now, where's Africa's Strongest Man this year? Is it in South Africa, or is it?
It's in SA. It'll be in South Africa. It'll be on the north coast. So it'll be in Cape Town side, down the bottom of South Africa.
Cape Town? I always want to go to Cape Town.
Beautiful. Honestly, one of the places, definitely bucket list. Tick that off.
Hey, does it have a coast? Does it have a coast on Cape Town?
The whole Cape is actually a coast.
I guess we could clash there at some point.
100%. It would be fantastic.
Hey, now did you compete in Africa's Strongest Man 105 last year? Because I remember.
I think the record.
Because we got the record. So that was Africa's.
Yeah, that's Africa's and SA. So I've been SA's and Africa's champ back and forth throughout between the last 5-6 years.
Okay. Because I was curious if you competed against Paul and Malden from Zambia, because they're two.
I actually just competed against both of them now at the Arnold's. I beat both of them. Right. Paul beat me once. I had to pull out the comp. I came second by half point, and I pulled out the last 2 events of tearing the bicep. That was two years back, 2020.
He impressed me at OSG this year. He did very well compared to the previous years.
He's coming. I mean, the boy's almost 40 years. He's 40 years old, actually.
No, he's not. Oh, I didn't know he's that old.
He's 40 years old. His first year of Masters this year coming up now. Yeah. So the boys, the phenomenal. So like you speak about consistency. That's exactly what it is. He's consistent. I don't feel he's great at anything. He's just there all the time. He stays on your toes.
Hell yeah. I love talking about our international brothers, man. There's so many of us out there. It's nice being able to talk, bring everyone in.
Oh yeah. But Blake, where can people find you if they want to learn more about you?
Look, I am on Instagram, Blake Louwrens Strongman. Obviously, Facebook as well, Blake Anthony Louwrens. So either or, both Facebook or Insta.
All right, excellent. But of course, I'll make sure to put that in the
Down
description below.
So everybody can click it and follow the link.
Yeah, follow
100%.
Blake. Watches. Of course, as he potentially might have to defend or might have to get back that deadlift record for the third time. Who knows what the future might in store? But there's a lot of exciting stuff heading there. But if you guys are on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you guys are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to follow. And until next time, everybody, stay strong.